Hey everybody, I am ARMR, and what I watched today is Reboot, Season 3, Episode 4, Game Over. We start today's episode off with Megabyte trying to use Hex's power to breach the firewall and regain his freedom. Naturally, he does this in the nicest way possible, for him, by reminding her he can cause her horrible pain if she doesn't help. But hey, that's normal with family, right? Right? Anyway, Hex manages it, opening a small hole in the firewall, and Megs just starts funneling his troops through. Our heroes, however, are well prepared for this, with a battery of cannons just devastating his forces as they pass the wall. After this, and well, during this as well, we get a really interesting character moment with Dot. She waits to activate the defenses until like the last second, letting more ships than was probably necessary come past the wall. Like, she really wants to take out Megabyte and, like, cut this off at the head. Stop it where it is. That could end up causing her to risk people. Her friends, her people, it's hard to say. But a moment later, we do get a good moment between her and Fong, where she confesses that part of the reason she's so amped up is because she's tired of all this destruction, the death, the countless binomes lost. She just wants it to end, and it's all taking a toll on her psychologically. And yeah, it's a good character moment. It's well written, and it does remind us just how heavy this situation is, like how hard it is on everyone, and how much they relied on Bob. I mean, Enzo's doing his best, but Dot can only do so much on her own now. And she's so afraid to lean on Enzo because he is, in her mind and everyone else's, still just a kid. It's just really well done. I really loved it. We get a brief aside of Megabyte with his science officer. It's implied here that they might not actually be controlling Hex. This just might be her having a little fun with them at this point. And giving her twisted mind, I wouldn't be surprised. They do have a little bit of a, I'd almost call it an adult joke, but not quite here, where the scientist is like, it's almost like she likes being tied up. Mega's like, oh, let's not even think about that. I'm like, well, to each their own, if that's what Hex is into. I mean, you did put her in that awesome black corset and whatnot. Anyway, we then head over to Hack and Slash executing Cyrus. I can never keep the two of them straight, but it boils down to the blue one being able to finish the job. Why? Because it's bad, and well, yeah, sure, they're bad guys technically, but they've never really done anything that bad yet. Bob was always there to stop them before they did anything that was really that bad. So he just doesn't feel like he can go through with this. He doesn't want to be an actual bad guy. I actually kind of love that. It's like a little bit of character moment for these just side buffoons that we've had around for the entire time. And then we're back with the mainframers. Dot taking some time to chat with Andrea and Enzo, and build a little more of a character moment once more. We get the game alert, and it seems to me like Dot is just having a bad feeling about everything. Like, she just clings to Enzo before he leaves, having a really touching moment with him and Andrea. Telling Enzo to do his best, and Andrea to keep him safe. On the way to the game, our heroes engage in a little propaganda of their own. There's a parade-style escort for Enzo, to make sure that as many people see Enzo enter the game as possible. A neat little touch of reinforcing that there is a Guardian around to mend and defend. Megabyte has a far more cynical view of it, but hey, who cares? He's behind the firewall. And he's a jerk. Today's game is a Mortal Kombat-style fighting game, with one important difference from the usual games in this series. The user picks their opponents from a roster of around 12 fighters, and our only mainframers there are Enzo and Andrea. So there's no way for them to know ahead of time who the user is going to pick. And thus, if they pick the wrong characters to become themselves, they might not even get a chance to fight the user and defend their system. It's definitely a neat twist on their usual game format. Up until now, one of the main advantages the sprites have had is their control. That they knew that no matter what, the user would have to go through them to win. But now the user could potentially bypass them completely. it really ups the stakes and, like, yeah, it keeps it rooted in the rules and world of video games, but it ups the stakes for our heroes, making it a lot more of a tense situation. And we get a moment of Dot panicking about how long the game is taking, and we learn something interesting from Fong.
Even allowing for the time discrepancies between virtual space and game space, there is still a finite time we must wait.
So what he's saying is that time moves differently in a game than it does in their system, which actually goes to help explain some seeming plot holes in other episodes, though not all of them. Fong loses his cool as well eventually, and we get a cameo of one of our most frequent side characters, the Flying Binome and his trusty manservant. I can't remember their names either, sorry. Inside the game, the user's form is revealed, looking a lot like the demon from Tekken. At least, I think that's the game, and it was one of the earliest games of the series. He was just this huge demon. It's been so long since I played that game, though. Enzo comes up with a pretty good plan. Andrea will reboot and pick a form, while Enzo tries to preempt the fight selector, rebooting at the same time a combatant is chosen to ensure he's picked. Andrea picks what I'm guessing is this game's version of a Hindu goddess to reboot as, along with Frisket, her faithful dog, Tiger. Yeah. Satan, yep, that's the name of the user's character, picks an angel for his first round. And Enzo unfortunately misses his chance to reboot, handing the user a victory. We see that the game has fatalities, though since this was made for TV and made for kids' TV, we don't get to see the actual fatality itself. We do, however, get to see Andrea's reaction shot. Oh, judging by that, it must be brutal. The next round, Satan kills a soldier, and once again, Enzo was too late to jump into the character. And yeah, this game style leaving the choosing of the opponents to the player is making things pretty brutal on Enzo as he struggles to gain control of the situation. And we find out that we actually skipped a couple of fights. That soldier was like fight number 4, and it's now the final level. Enzo gets his chance to fight as totally not Scorpion. Oh god, please don't sue us! Yeah, that. And it all comes down to a tiebreaker round. Enzo versus the user. One fighting for survival, the other fighting to kill a few minutes. Yeah, kind of... When you think about it that way, it kind of makes me feel guilty about all the computer games I've played. Oh well, not gonna think about that. It doesn't go well this last round. Enzo loses his eye, and as he sees the user approach to finish him off, he taps his icon, reformatting it to a game icon. I didn't know Enzo had this ability on his own. I mean, naturally Andrea has it, but she was a game sprite to start. And she's able to activate Frisket's icon too, basically making them all game sprites. I think this episode is the first one in the series where a game has been lost with a main character inside. And it's definitely a departure from the usual formula, and a well-done twist. As the game departs, there's complete silence. No music, just the hum of the principal office monitors, driving home just how dark this moment is for our main cast as the silence is broken by Dot's anguished scream. And then the episode ends on Megabyte's laughter. Now, this is a big twist, and a very shocking one at that. And it kind of brought to mind for me something that I learned from, well, watching a much more popular reviewer named Linkara. And it's that, well, you know, how do you measure a good twist? Well, if I remember correctly, basically what he said was, does this twist allow them to tell more stories than they would have been able to do without it? And here the answer is a resounding yes. As much as I love this show, by this episode, it was starting to feel like Season 3 was bottlenecking itself really hard. With the firewall up, I can't really see how many good stories they would have been able to tell without just destroying the firewall in the next episode, and that would have been kind of lame. But by sending Enzo and Andrea into the net like this, which admittedly, spoilers for next episode, but this show ended in 2001, so not too worried about that, as you've probably noticed so far. But sending them away like this opens up so many new avenues to explore, and we will start looking at those with gusto at the next episode. I'll see you then, and thank you for watching.